All right, we are on Workbook Lesson 147 of A Course in Miracles. Each of these lessons, this is review number 4, the fourth review in the workbook. Each of these review lessons starts with, my mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. Today, and each lesson has 2 lessons from previous. So, lesson 133, I will not value what is valueless. I will not value what is valueless. And lesson 134, let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Let me perceive forgiveness as it is. So my mind holds only what I think with God. Ultimately, there is a oneness. There's one mind. There's one spirit. There is one true self, right? And there's one reality. We can call that God. You can actually call it anything. You can call it love. You can call it source. You can call it the ground of being. You can call it ultimate reality. Ultimate reality is a good one because we're talking about what is true and what is real. You could also call it ultimate truth, right? Ultimate or absolute truth, ultimate reality, absolute reality. Right now, we are not there, apparently, right? According to what Jesus has been telling us, right? We can find echoes and resonances of it in this world. Like we can align our minds so much with God's thought, or as Jesus says, the Holy Spirit's thought system, which is completely opposed to the ego's thought system. So we can align our minds so much in alignment with the Holy Spirit's thought system that we experience heaven on earth. That we experience, we get closer and closer to our true reality. Now it's not heaven. It's still in the dream. We're still in the illusion, and Jesus calls that the happy dream. So as we're still in the dream, but our dream becomes happier and happier as we align our mind with truth, as we align our mind with what we might say are God's thoughts, God's mind. And how do we do that? Well, we do that through forgiveness. Jesus has given us this one word to use, basically. But it's not forgiveness as we generally think of it. And even if you look at the Gospels, what Jesus taught in the Gospels, this is not completely the same forgiveness, unless you understand what Jesus was saying in the Gospels in a deeper way. So what is forgiveness? Well, the first thing here is, I will not value what is valueless. What is valueless? Essentially anything that is temporary, anything that is not permanent, anything that undergoes change in any way is something that I do not want to give power to, that I do not want to give energy to with my mind, right? That's my thoughts. I want to respect everything, right? I respect everything. I don't deny or depreciate or denigrate anything or anyone. And yet at the same time, I also recognize that everything here is passing away. Everything is changing. Nothing is going to stay the same. So in a sense, to say I will not value what is valueless basically is like the idea of non-attachment. I'm not going to attach or cling to things that are not permanent. I'm going to attach only to what is permanent, what is real, what is the only thing that really is real and true. In the yoga tradition, that's called sat, right? Sat is true. So sat is what is true and what is real. But this is not a concept. This is a reality, right? This is because even in the yogic scriptures, we find the idea, like in the Bhagavad Gita, that God is beyond sat and asat, right? God is beyond what is true and what is not true. Because sat and asat are opposites, and we live in a world of opposites. We live in a world of duality, but God is beyond all duality. So God is even beyond true, what is true and what is untrue. That's like saying God is beyond what is beyond love and fear, as we think of love and fear, because our concept of love is limited. The love of which Jesus is pointing to in the Course is unlimited, is without opposite. There is no opposite to love in reality, right? Fear does not exist. Forgiveness does not exist. Sin does not exist. Guilt does not exist. Separation of any kind does not exist. So if that's the case, then what is forgiveness? Forgiveness is merely letting go of what is not, what is of change, right? What is not permanent. Forgiveness is letting go of the individual self, the separate self. And we start with weeding out those aspects of ourself which are stuck in fear, in lack, in limitation, in littleness of any kind. As we do that, we find slowly but surely we do come to our true self, right? It's like that image of was it Michelangelo? Michelangelo's David, chipping away at the statue. The statue, the form is there, but you got to chip away, every day, and slowly but surely, the figure emerges, your true self, you could say, right? And it's that's what we want to. That's what we're doing, right? This is all a process of elimination. It's also, to bring in another yogic concept, neti, not this, not that. So in our minds, we just separate out the wheat and the chaff, right? What is real and what is not real. Anything that's illusionary, anything that is of that small self, that separate self, that suffers and undergoes change and pain and suffering, we slowly but surely remove that way of thinking, right? Those thought patterns, those conditionings of the mind, we slowly but surely remove those, and we come more and more to our true self, our true reality. So forgiveness is a lot deeper than what we generally think of as forgiveness, right? Forgiveness is very much on the surface in the world we live in. Like we think, we get caught up in I need to forgive this person, I need to forgive that person, I holding something against this person. But what Jesus is talking about here is really a complete overhaul, a complete transformation of consciousness. Because the thing is that, yeah, you might forgive someone, you might let go of something, and that's wonderful, and that's important to do that, but then there'll be something else, right? Because it keeps changing, the forms keep changing until we get to the root of it. Then there will not be anything more to forgive. We'll realize, we'll be in a place where we do not need to seek forgiveness or ask forgiveness or offer forgiveness to anyone or anything, because we will be in that place of knowing, right? More and more. To really be in the place of knowing, according to what Jesus is saying, is to be at home in in our true reality, which as long as we're here in this world, in the world of duality, in the world of perception, we are not there yet. But like I said, we can be, this is what Jesus says, we can get closer and closer to that mind which thinks in alignment with God, right? So, and that's what we're doing. And that's what this workbook is helping us to do, what the course is helping us to do. Another way to put it is we get more and more into our right mind, less and less in our wrong mind. So right-minded perception versus wrong-minded perception. Right-minded perception is seeing our brother as ourself, seeing all others as our true self, and not wavering from that, right? The less we waver in that perception, the closer we're getting to that right-mindedness. And eventually it's all going to be all right and we'll be home once again, right? So we're chipping away, preparing the way, and slowly, but surely we're getting there. And Godspeed, stay the course. That's my new one, stay the course, and we'll see you soon. That was lesson 147, tomorrow lesson 148. Thank you for listening. Adios.